Recording.
Hey there, guys. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally. Listen, this is going to be part 2 of the program, From Clueless Teenager to Consummate Professional.
Hey there.
This may seem like it might be off the beaten path of careers, but this is why I also said career and economic life, because your career does affect your economic life. We talked about in the last portion, we talked about in the first session where what your career plans definitely affect how you pan out economically. And we talked about the fact that we just used automotive engineer as an example of a specific career path. Now, we're going to get deep down because we did have some numbers up here, which I'll put that net pay from the last time. I think it was 3,800. And I'm going to go into why we need to go over that and why that's important. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. We'll stick the pin here for now. But here are some questions I need to ask you in regards to your career and economic life as it pertains to credit. How does credit affect your career and economic life? Please. Yeah, I'm sorry. For these sessions, grab a notebook, pencil or pen. Yeah. In order for you to be able to benefit from this experience, you have to actually participate and actually take action. Okay? All right. So we got the notebook. See? Notebook? Yeah. We got the pencil. All right. Wonderful. All right. Go grab it. Awesome. Now, how does your credit affect your career and economic life? I'm going to tell you as a HR professional. Look at me. I'm right here. Listen. 1, there are certain jobs that you're not going to be able to get if your credit is not in place. Number 2, in order for you to do things normal like buy a house, buy a car with decent interest, get great insurance rates, that's how it affects your economic life. You can be paying more out the wazoo. You ain't got to listen to me. There's a lot of experts that tell you the same thing. And if you live long enough, yeah, you're in high school now, and you're like, why are we talking about this serious stuff? Because if you don't know and you don't plan accordingly, you are going to pay for what you don't know. So I want you guys to really take this serious. How does credit affect your career and your life? Please, please, please take what I'm saying seriously. Your economic life depends on it. Now, write down what you think is going to affect it. We're going to go and delve in a little bit deeper with a few other questions here. Second question. What do you know about credit so far? You hear your parents talk about it. Oh, credit is this, and then my credit is bad, and my credit is this, or credit is good. What do you know? I know I knew absolutely nothing when I got my first credit card in college. I said, "Oh, it's a credit card. It's free money." No, it's not. It's money you have to pay back. And when I learned what credit was all about, it was already too late. I had messed up on my credit in my 20s. So I'm telling you this as somebody that's recovering their credit now, and that has much better credit than I used to. That what you know about credit can make or break your economic life. It is that serious. Now, what you don't know about credit so far, and what you may definitely want to do, is check out a couple resources. There are 2 books that I personally recommend because I read those books and it opened my eyes to credit. One of them is called Conspiracy of Credit by Corey P. Smith. And 2, How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus. Corey P. Smith also wrote that book. I know reading is not your thing. They have it on Audible. You can listen to it. Okay? Just to keep it simple. All right. There you go. Now, that's question number 2. You are making notes on this, right? Let me make sure I read it for you. Number one, how does credit affect your career and economic life? Write that question down and write the answer to it. Number two, what do you know about your credit score so far? Or what you know about credit so far? And if you don't know, you want to get educated about it so you know how to maneuver through it because it determines what your economic life is. Check out those 2 resources that we talked about. Conspiracy of Credit, which I'll write the names down before the end of this video, and How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus. And quiet as it's kept, this is 2018. In 2019, there's going to be some more changes. So what I talk about next down at the bottom is going to affect your credit as well. But let's move on to question number 3 because we'll get more into that in a minute. What do you think you need to do to improve your credit? That's question 3A. And 3B, why is your credit so important? As we talked about at the top, your credit affects your purchasing power. Credit also affects how you can invest. Credit also affects the very insurance rates you have on the vehicle, you have on your home. Credit affects where you live, what you can afford to purchase, what you can afford to rent, what you can afford to buy. Credit affects every area of your economic life. So it is that important. I'm smiling, but I'm real serious. It's that important. Okay? Now, what do you think you need to do to improve your credit? Listen, there's a lot of ways, and I'm not a credit expert per se, but I want to touch on this before you guys get your first credit card. I want to touch on this so you understand what it is that you're getting into. I want to touch on this so you understand the importance. How do you improve your credit? Pay everything you owe that appears on your credit report on time. That on time? On time. Better yet, if you could go for early, that's even better. Okay? If you can go for early, that's better. Because what you don't want on your credit report, is late payments. Because late payments kills your score. And what we're going to learn about later on with the new credit system, mismanagement of your money in your checking account will also down your score. But that's another time for another day. And I'll get a credit expert on here on the channel to be able to speak to that more. Now, why is that credit so important? As I said before, your credit affects almost every area of your economic life. It determines where you live. It determines your insurance rates. It determines your rate of interest on if you're planning on getting a car payment. Your car payments. You want to drive that flashy car and your credit is bad, you're going to end up paying 3 times over in 5 years for a vehicle than you would if you have better credit. It's that serious. So what does credit have to do with this next question? What is a personal budget? Because your personal budget feeds back into what you're doing on your personal budget is going to affect your credit either negatively or positively. What's a personal budget? Do you know what that is? We're going to go over here. This is why we put this up here in the first place. Remember we talked about the automotive engineer? Their take-home pay was about $3,800. And we're going to put $3,850 just as a sample per month. Not that that's a bad pay, but you want to know what you're working with, right? Yeah, sure. Okay. So, $3,850. Let's say all of the money management gurus or all of the financial gurus always make this statement. You have to learn to pay who first. You got to learn to pay yourself first. That would be in the form of savings. Savings or investing, but let's start with savings until you learn more about the type of investments you want to make. Savings. All right. And it should be you pay yourself 10% of what you make. Hey, so 10% of what you make is what? Is it $3,850? So that's $385 per month. That goes into a savings account somewhere. If I were you, try to see if you can get that automatically deducted so you don't even see it. This becomes important later on. Okay, household expenses. You need to live somewhere, right? Let's say you live in South Florida. South Florida, the average rent in South Florida, depending on if you want to live in somewhat of a decent place and you're a single person, just got out of high school, or no, let's say just got out of high school. Let's say you're the automotive engineer that we talked about, right? You just got out of college, you're single. You want to find a nice place. If you're a guy, you want to make sure your digs are cool, so the females can come check you out. Whatever it is you want to do, listen. At that point, you're grown. You do what you want. But you're an automotive engineer. You want to live in a nice place? Average rent in South Florida right now is $1,500 a month. You can get that for a 1 or 2 bedroom. I said average because you can find places, there are places further down south, that's $1,750. So let's just say, okay, rent, we're going to put rent, electricity, and cell phone, right? Okay, so let's say your rent is $1,500. Electricity on average, since it's just you, and you're barely home, call it $80 a month. That's fairly reasonable. Okay? Then we have cell phone. Let's say you want the nicest phone and you're paying payments on it, say about $100. So how much is that so far? 0, 8, 6, right? Those are just basics. That's 16, 80. Okay, other expenses. Nobody in this world these days can live without internet. Let's just say you're not home, so you're not even into cable because you watch everything on your wonderful devices. So you watch stuff for free on the internet. So you're going to need the internet, okay? Internet, I'm just using South Florida as an example. Decent internet starts at about $70 a month. All right, and that's lowballing it. So let's just say $70 per month. All right, let's not even put that there yet. Internet, let's say you have subscriptions like Netflix, all right? Since you don't have cable, Hulu, both of those combined is about $25 a month, which is actually not bad, okay? So we're gonna add that to the other expenses. What other expenses do you have? If you're in an apartment, you can decide to take on things like, I don't know, renter's insurance. Renter's insurance is about $200 to $300 a year, maybe not more. So let's say you budget for that on a monthly basis. 300 divided by 12. 2. 24.
60.
6.
5. 25.
It's about $25 a month. Okay. Let's be fair. That's $25 a month for renter's insurance. Okay? It might be more now depending on how much stuff you have. But that's to give you an idea. Okay? So, Netflix, Hulu, renter's insurance. Okay. I don't know if you have a car. If you have a car that's paid for, then we don't have car payments up here. But what we do have is car insurance. All right, so that's 11, 12. That's 120. All right, that's another basic necessity. You could put car insurance on basic necessities. Okay? Car insurance. Depending on how old you are. So let's just put the 120 here. All right? And that's to put car insurance. Decent car insurance, let's just put it on average. Based on your age, it's probably going to be in the 200s. Let's just put 250 to be on the safe side. Because the older you get, the less you pay in insurance. And if you're just coming out of college, you're in your 20s. They charge you guys more. Okay? So you have an idea. All right. So, we haven't gotten to other basic needs yet. Other basic needs like, let's not even talk about donations right now. Other basic needs like food, gas, right? On a monthly basis, let's say it's only you, so it's $50 a month, $50 a week for food. Okay? 50 times 4 is 200. Let's say it costs you, depending on the vehicle you have, about $50 a week to keep gas in your car. Right? 50 times 4, that's another 200. I'm being generous, depending on the size vehicle you have. All right, so gas, food, plus car insurance. That's
650. 650.
620, 650. All right. So far, we have 650. If you don't feel like giving away or donating to anything, if you belong to a church and you pay tithes, that's another 10% you take out. Up to you. If you do that, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Now, for this example, we're not going to take that out. So, where are we right now, boys and girls? Let's check this out.
No. I got it.
So,
I got it.
huh? Let's see. So we have so far $38.50, 385. That's your savings.
2,450.
Hold up. That's 385 plus.
Oh, include 385.
1680, right? Plus 120 plus 6 plus 650. Right? That leaves us with what? This is 2,835. That's the tentative amount of expenses that you have. Well, at least in this situation, because you're an automotive engineer and you're taking care of the basic keyword, this is basic. People have other things going on here. Keep in mind, I didn't put in car payment in this because the person who owns in this particular example, they own their vehicle already, right? So you're really only paying for the car insurance at this point. This is tentative expenses. At least in this situation.
$1,000 off.
Yeah. So, if you're in this situation as far as budgets are concerned, there should be no issues with you keeping your credit good because you are in the position to pay all of your obligations on time because you still have almost $1,000. You have more than $1,000. $1,035, $1,015 left. So you can actually afford to beef this joker up, right? Instead of putting down 10%, maybe you put down 30. That's what? Okay, 30% would be 3,850 times 30. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe 20%. But you see where I'm going with this. You're able to put more away. If you can save a whole lot more, then you'll be able to start having some options to invest later on. But you want to make sure that's 770. Instead of having 385, you have 770 there. Okay? Let's just use the 20% as an example. So instead of you having 10 minus 385, so you have 630 here. You still got a lot of wiggle room here. But here's what you do with that extra. You put that away, you put some of it away into the, you could take some of that and say 100 and 100 and let's have fun money. Okay? Every month. Let's have fun. You actually have the resources to do this. This is let's have fun money. $100 a month you just blow, whatever you want to do it with. Have fun. You know what you do with that other $530? Find an investment vehicle and start investing early. The earlier you start to invest, the better off you'll be. And I'm going to leave that example for you right there. Listen, guys. I wish somebody had sat me down and go through this when I was your age. But hindsight's 20/20, and I want you guys to be able to benefit from my and your parents' experience. So having not just your career, but your economic life on balance will put you in a better position here, because if you never put the plan in place career-wise to be an automotive engineer, then your budget may not have looked like this. It may be you need more or less there. Now, I want to make sure that you guys are understanding what is involved. This is part of the program that will be coming down the pike later on. We already did a part one where we came up with this amount based on the automotive engineer, but I also want to make sure that you understand how credit ties into all of this. If you have a budget that's a working budget that actually makes sense, then you'll use that personal budget to make sure that your credit is better. And of course, I want to also touch on the ultra FICO source type stuff that's going on around now. It's going to be starting in 2019. How you manage your money and how your checking account reveals what you do with your money also helps to either hurt or help your credit score. If you're not managing money properly, it is going to also lower your score. So, I do want to make sure that you guys have access to this. The program is going to be coming down the pipe very soon, in a few weeks. However, in the meantime, if you want to sign up for the program, you can do so at mentorshelley.com/high school to professional. We're going to be doing a portion of this live. This is just from high school to professional. mentorshelley.com/high school to professional. PROF, actually, just to make it short. PROF. We're going to be signing up for that program. But if we can definitely do this one-on-one, and you can definitely do that and at least start the process at mentorshelley.com/services/career strategy to make sure that you or your young person, depending on if it's the mom or dad watching this, or if it's your young folks watching this, that we go through all of these pieces in your career planning. So you're not just left out there with, I'm not sure what I want to do. No. Have your career plan in place, and also have your economic plan in place, and understand how credit is important to that. Of course, this is mentorshelley.com coming to you to make sure that you are becoming a better version of yourself professionally. And if you definitely want to reach out to me with general requests in regards to the program, you can do so at mentorshelley.com/contact. You can leave me a voicemail message or an email, and make sure that you leave a way for me to return the voicemail as well. So I'll be able to return that within 24 hours. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally as you work through the portions to live your dream career. Take care, guys. You have a good one. Bye.